You know, in all the action movies and games and shit, they... never really show that fucking clean-up. Simone grunts, as she drags ends of the Dillo's corpse closer to the growing pile of collective vanquished foes. Thankfully, despite being cracked, the Dillo's fringe made a more than suitable handhold to haul it along a painfully slow path down the stairs and into the cargo bay. Satisfied with the eventual position, she drops the head down with a meaty thud. Bending over to place her hands on her knees, the Terran takes a breather. "Oh, how about you take another break?" a worried Chuck insists, as she approaches with a canister of water. "Nah, Simone starts to respond, before shaking her head, more than noticing her current dizziness. "Yeah, okay." Accepting the water, Simone slowly walks to a nearby crate and lowers herself to sit against it on the floor. She takes a deep drink before pressing the cold container against her forehead. "Guess I don't have my usual stamina back yet," she comments with a tired smirk, trying to lighten the mood a bit. Chuck sits down next to the Terran, feeling the expelling body heat from her. "This was a terribly close call," the Callie says somberly, wrapping her lower arms around herself. "The closest yet," Simone agrees. "They couldn't have chosen a more opportune time. Just glad we had the Grat jewel with us. And hey, you held yourself pretty good from what I've heard. Took facing a dealer who ate his Wheaties one-on-one to give you trouble. Proud of you." Chuck's eyes flash slightly, turning to look at Simone genuinely. "I've come a long way because of you, and yet I still needed you to save me. Always my hero," she smiles, brushing an upper hand against the redhead's cheek, making them flush even more than they already were. "I'm just glad I still have it in me, not being at my best and all," Simone chuckles bashfully. It's then Chuck notices how painfully haggard the Terran's breathing is in this moment, and that her posture is so slumped. "Maybe you should rest in bed," Chuck blurts out, her internal thoughts leaking into words. Simone looks to the Callie concerned, damn near insulted even, though she knows Chuck comes from a place of love. "I'm okay, Chuck. I'll get better," she reassures, putting on a bigger smile. "I've been put down far worse than this in my time in the military. Maybe not for this long, but I'll be back to 100% in no time." Despite the Terran's words, the princess doesn't seem to gain any sort of comfort. "But what if you don't?" Chuck replies softly, as she buries her face in her upper cross arms. "What if things like this keep happening, and you keep getting hurt to the point where you become sickly? I can't protect you like you protect me." "Hey!" Simone sharply interjects, causing the Callie to jump in surprise. "Who is the biggest, meanest bitch out there?" Chuck's memories of the Kamoy incident are brought forth. It really wasn't all that long ago, nearly a standard year, yet it feels like she's lived a lifetime since. You? Chuck answers. "Wrong," Simone corrects, to the Callie's utter confusion. "But you told me I was the biggest, meanest bitch, but then you decided to rain hell itself upon the sorry fucks who nabbed me. Me, a grumpy, smart-mouth, asshole Deathworlder. You did all that for me. I'd hate to see any poor bastard get in your way. I couldn't be in safer hands," Simone says, before leaning to kiss the side of Chuck's head. The princess's eyes flash much brighter this time, a chirping giggle finding itself freed from her smiling mouth. "Only you can call me a mean bitch and still somehow make me feel so much better," she comments, before rubbing her head against the Terran's. "It's part of my rustic charm," the Terran smugly replies with a wink. "That's certainly one term for it," Chuck teases, as she mimics a Terran eye roll. "Call it whatever you like, princess. You're a huge horndog for it," Simone counters slyly, sending the Callie into another giggle fit. "Are you two seriously flirting in front of a pile of the deceased?" Finn calls out from above by the railing. "Sup, Doc? How's our little chef doing?" Simone responds, ignoring Vin's admittedly justified question. "Seven is lamenting that they are unable to assist, and is dealing with taking life for the first time. An ordeal to which I can relate, but otherwise fine. Though they will need proper repairs, and unfortunately, we lack anyone who can conduct them," the doctor answers. "Oh, I will personally ensure they receive the best care possible," Chuck says. "As expected. You have my thanks, Chocolatimotas. I'm rather glad that our luck held up in this grim circumstance. Do we have any update on when our tow party will arrive?" Finn inquires. "It'll be a few days, but they're on their way," Simone replies with an affirming nod. "I see. Suppose I should be grateful that we have aid coming at all," the Noxie says, before turning his way back to his quarters. The two sit together for a while longer. The Terran's breathing gradually becomes more clear and smooth. Feeling her third wind kick in, Simone musters herself up into a standing position. Alright, time to eject these bastards, she notifies, before turning back to the stairs. I'm going to suit up, make things a bit easier for me. Wonderful idea. Do you need help putting your suit on? The Callie inquires, standing up herself. Simone looks back at the Callie with a knowing glance, paired with a smirk. Nah, shouldn't be a problem. Oh, very well. I'll go check on the Grat. I adore you more than the spirits can provide, dearest, Nordrin chitters lovingly, as they comb Miki's head fur with their claws. And I you, love, Miki whispers, in a relaxed, drugged haze, as she nestles closer into her bondmate's form, allowing herself to be bundled up like a sick child. Careful, dearest. Your wounds still require time to heal properly, Nordrin cautions, checking Miki's bare, bandaged chest once more. The Grat's weaved tails flap the bedding together in their mutual gratitude for one another. That was quite the adventure, wasn't it? Miki says. It was almost as frightening as the day the stars fell on our world, but so exciting, like the heroes of ancient times. Nordrin stares at the face of the high female Grat, her long pointed ears twitching from the medicine's effects. Indeed, though I believe you are more fond of this sort of thing, Nordrin admits. And yet you are there, with me always. Always and always and always, Miki mutters, as she grazes a hand along Nordrin's cheek. Always and always, they agree earnestly. I can tell, this is what you've been searching for, isn't it? Yes, I feel like I am still moving forward, but I do not need to leave. It's absolutely wonderful, love. I can see that, and I am so very much happy to see you find it. I know you don't believe it, but I see that the spirits have granted your wish, because you are extraordinary, Nordrin responds, as they continue to brush Miki's fur. Perhaps not, but I do believe it was you who gave me the life I now live. Without you, my most adored Nordrin, my path would have been far too short to be here. You carved my future stone by stone, no matter how far I needed to wander, Miki informs, her four pupils expanding. In spirit and mind you made me brave, like a glorious blazing fire leading through a forest so dense that no light comes through from the skies. Because of that, I go wherever you go. I fear no darkness, no steep cliff, no monstrous demon, nothing. Not for as long as you're there. Nordrin, Miki whines, breaking into a soft, affectionate cry. You make me feel guilty to have you to myself alone. Many bonding families would greatly... You are more than enough, dearest. You are the only Grat I ever wish to share this bond with. I desire only you, and to see your spirit thrive. Before Miki can continue the Grat-Sep exchange, there was a light knock on their door. Enter, yes? Nordrin speaks up in GS. The door opens, revealing a lone Callie, who simply leans in to see the cuddling mass of raw Grat laying on the bed together. Oh, my apologies. I was just coming to check up on you and ask if you would like me to bring you anything. Are you hungry? Thirsty? I came now because I may be unavailable for some time, Chuck inquires. Much thanks. Cold drinks, yes, Nordrin replies gratefully. Of course. Are you two feeling well? How are your wounds, Miki? Chuck says. Drugs much lots. Much no stand, pain no moment, the female Grat answers. I see. I must thank you again for what you did. You without a doubt performed tremendously well. I'll be right back with some cold water. Chuck farewells before resealing the door. Simone lazily kicks the final corpse into a compartment to be incinerated and ejected into the cold void of space as nothing more than ash. Enjoy returning to Stardust, you stupid fucks, she mutters, as she slams the compartment closed and hits the incinerator activation. As she makes her way towards the front of the vessel, she grumbles to herself about not putting the suit on earlier. Moving the bodies into the initial pile would have been much less taxing. Choknok? The redhead asks as she enters the bridge. However, she sees that the floor opening to the captain's quarters is currently exposed. She steps on down to see the trouble resting on a couch-like piece of furniture. He's reading from a datapad before looking up at his visitor. Ah, Miss Thatch, he greets in a soft tone, before pointing at the chair across from him. Upon it is a curled-up Wataf child, sleeping peacefully. Simone clutches at her chest at the sight, resisting the urge to let out a drawn, "Ah." I'm happy to report that the little rascal seems to be doing quite fine despite the earlier events, Chalknock updates, before setting the datapad down gently. That's so good to see. Finished cleaning up the chunky bits. Still needs a good mopping, but even in the suit, I'm tapping out for now. Simone responds in a near whisper, wondering if she should pick up her child and carry him through the ship. You've done more than enough, Simone. Enjoy a reprieve. In fact, I'll continue to keep watch over SJ while you relax, the captain assures. Really? Thanks. I'm starting to think you're acting more like their parent at this point. That's the job of a grandparent, is it not? Chocolate counters with a small throat chuckle. You have been rather busy as of late. A job of the utmost importance. I suppose, thank you. For keeping him safe. You really had us worried there, Simone says as she scratches the back of her head. Ah, of course. Being convincing was imperative. I always have a backup plan in mind, I assure you. The captain waves away. Right. Still, thank you, Simone reiterates before turning to take her leave. Miss Thatch, Chuknok says, before she can leave earshot. Turning around, she glances back curiously. In my long life, one thing that I can say elevates it, as we lose those we care about, is this. Do not just mourn the loss, but celebrate the life they lived. Being sad is only natural, but honouring the time that someone existed, that's what makes the future not so bleak, even in the face of doom. One day this old man will pass on, and he wants you to live and be merry, knowing that his life was so rich and fulfilled. You understand me, Miss Thatch? A small smile forms on the Terran's face, before she meets the Trumple's dark eyes. I do, and that's a promise, she answers, before exiting. Satisfied with a temporarily repurposed shower curtain over the spa's entrance, Simone enters with a towel over her shoulder. Granted she was in here not too long ago for a quick hose down, but being drenched in blood in such a brutal engagement requires an additional thorough scrub down. No drug-induced vision dreams into her own psyche this time either. After this, she can lay down and sleep off the exhaustion and sort out all the upcoming business. She wanders over to a shower but decides against it. Her legs are screaming to sit down, and the floor tub feels too appropriate to pass on, though she needs to wait until it drains and refills from its last use. While she waits, she lays down on the cool, smooth floor. Her back rumbles with many minor pops as it's allowed to stretch and rest. The lights are low, but not quite what they were for Nodrin's spirit journey. Closing her eyes, the Terran listens to the movement of draining fluid, and eventually the pouring refill of it. It's wonderfully relaxing. All that's missing was some soft, melodic beats in the background. So relaxing, in fact, that she nearly falls asleep then and there. But judging from nearly slipping into dreamland, she rotates herself, and feet first sink into the warm bath. All her minor cuts ignite in sharp pains, before almost as quickly numbing from whatever soothing chemicals are added into this special bathing liquid. She can feel the remaining filth on her be eaten away and filtered. No need for an actual scrubbing, though she does tip her head and run her hands through her short fur to expedite the process. When she breathes air once more, she picks up the sound of approaching hooves, though they are not as distinct as she recalls from before. Turning her head quickly around, she sees her Callie, dressed in the underlayer of modified Callie power armor. To what do I owe this pleasure, warrior princess? Simone remarks, lifting her tired arms out of the tub to rest on the floor. Chuck's eyes flash brightly, causing the surface of the liquid to reflect a soft red. Get in here, Simone permits, with a winning wink. Practically falling to the tub, the Callie maneuvers to rest herself until the redhead's lap. What brought this on? The Terran asks, already knowing the answer. The princess takes hold of the redhead's face with her upper arms, locking eyes so close that Simone begins to question if this is unhealthy for her own optical organs. Today reminds me of how dire our situation still is. I wish to feel alive and intimate with the woman I love to the fullest extent, while we still can. If you're up to it, I mean. Simone smiles, letting out a single huff of a laugh. Weren't you the one telling me to take it easy, hun? She points out. With this suit on, you very much still can, Chuck replies, as her freckles and fur gradually begin to illuminate, turning the tub into a magical ethereal pool of fantasy. I'll take the lead, if that's okay. Leaning forward, Simone kisses her love without breaking her signature smirk. Hell yeah, it is. Slumping down deeper into the tub, Simone wraps her arms around the Callie, holding her close in a tight embrace only allowed by the suit. Another round? Maybe we can... Simone starts before Jack leans back, showing a genuine look of concern. What? Krolenta? Talvison Norieven? What's that? The Callie inquires softly. Simone raised an eye tuft in confusion over the random question. I I don't know. What do you mean? She says. While catching her breath, Chuck places her uppers on Simone's shoulder and cheek. Simone? Chuck speaks up, the concern in her voice raising as her bodily glow fades back down. Chuck, what? You're starting to freak me out, the redhead replied, which only freaked her out more by Chuck's further reaction. Simone, what are you saying? Can you understand me? The Kelly chirps in fear, now clutching the Terran as if she's slowly disappearing into thin air. Yes, Simone responds, with annoyed nods to the weird questions. Okay, Chuck said, only a little relieved, but you just said rien. You're speaking a language I don't understand, nor is the translator working. Simone's face goes pale, wanting this to be a joke or a prank, but Chuck wouldn't joke about this. Trying to not panic herself, Simone clears her throat and contemplates slowly the sounds that she knew for a fact was Galactic Standard. How about now? She draws out. Chuck's eyes flash before dimming to near grey. Oh, thank the stars. Say more! More, she urges, nearly crying. You have juicy-ass hips, Simone states a bit more concisely. The princess leans in to embrace the Terran in a rush of relief. Thank you, she cries, in a manner that involves a shallow laugh. What just happened? What was wrong? I don't know. Fluke, hopefully. But I swear I thought I was speaking normally. I swear, no joke, Simone promises, still freaking out a little. I believe you. Let's get you to bed, okay? Right after Dave gets a quick look at you, just to be safe, Chuck says, words still brimming with worry. You bet. Well, the projectile markings are going to need some work done, but I think that's as clean as it's going to get, Simone remarks as she leans up against her mop. Hopefully whoever we have fix the spa door can see to that as well, Chuck says, as she disposes of used rags. How are you feeling? It wasn't as laborious as yesterday, but it was still a lot of work, she asks, redirecting herself to the redhead. Tired, but great, actually, like really great, Simone answers honestly, passing the mop handle back and forth between her two paws in a playful show. Have I said anything weird yet? Well, you know, more than my usual weirdness. I don't believe so. You do seem to be better, Chuck comments, as she comes close to her Terran, the other day's languages still fresh in her mind. Simone turns the mop horizontal and loops it behind the Kelly, before utilising it to draw her in close. Chuck's eyes flash as she presses into the Terran, not unwelcoming to the gesture. Dave sees nothing different, so maybe my brain was thrown for a loop after such a wonderful night, eh? The redhead teases. Oh, maybe? But you really have to be cautious. If it gets worse, we will need to plan accordingly, Chuck stammers, a bit taken aback by Simone's brighter outlook on the troubling occurrence. You betcha, but regardless, I'm riding this high. How about we go play with SJ, huh? Been too long. And we got nothing to do until I hope gets here. Simone frees Chuck after a loving kiss and sets the mop aside as she makes her way towards the bridge. Chuck follows, but can't help but feel that this all seems rather odd. Simone can surely bounce back, but to this extent? Is it affront? Denial? Or is something deeper at play?